Welcome back to another episode of Coming Home with Jenny Oceans. I celebrate you as always for being here, for choosing to place into your ears something that is going to create growth and expansion in your life, something that is going to gift you with something, but also listening might trigger something within. And I celebrate you for choosing that because when we feel discomfort, when we feel that we're out of our comfort zone, that's when we create growth, right? So I'm celebrating you deeply for being here. Today, we're going to speak about confidence. I have so many people reaching out to me and tell me, well, it's easy for you. You have so much confidence. And I want to say something that you showing up as your true, and I'm going to use the word authentic self, has almost nothing to do with confidence. Confidence is what comes after. Confidence is what comes after. See, how do we get to being confident? The truth is, when we spend time and effort and actually make it a priority in our life to understand who we really are. Who am I? What do I enjoy? What's my values? What do I prioritize in life? Who actually am I? Not who I have become by automated life, by being the mom or the wife or, the work colleague or the business owner, whoever that is. But who am I in my core? So first, we need to figure that out. Who am I in my core? Because that's where it starts. See, confidence it's like the flower that blossom in the garden. The flower that you see, the crown of the flower, is not actually all of the flower. It's the end result, right? Your beautiful blue lotus is not just a beautiful flower of the blue lotus. It's the stalk that's gone through the dirt. But at the end, a blue lotus knows that it is a blue lotus, right? So first, we want you to become really clear on who you actually are. And to do that, we need to make a decision. We need to make the decision to become aware and place the time and focus onto figuring that out. Because most people in this world don't know who they are. They are just getting through life. They are surviving. They're living in automation. They have become who they have become by living unconsciously every single damn day. They're just letting the movies play in their head and they're not questioning it. Yep, that's the movie. Yep, no, this is how life is meant to be. This is life. Yep, I do wake up every morning upset and frustrated and anxious about life because that's my life. That's life. That's how it's meant to be. It's meant to be painful. That's how it's meant. And you just gone through life, getting through life. So when we make the decision to take radical responsibility for our life, and we're starting to realize that we're responsible for our life, we're starting to realize that we are the creator of this life creation. We're starting to realize that we're the author of our book. Then things are starting to shift. Then we no longer want to just get through life. We want to actually experience and live life to its fullest potential. We also don't want to participate in things that doesn't satisfy our soul. We don't want to participate in conversation that don't satisfy our soul. We don't want to spend time with people that don't satisfy our soul. And to do these things, we need to actually really know who we are. What are my core values? What's important in my life? What is it that I really want? What makes me satisfied and happy in my heart? What brings me deep joy? Why do I say yes to the things I say yes? And why do I say no to the things I say no? Out of automation, out of obligation, or because I actually really want to? So when you're figuring out who you truly are in your deep core, you're figuring out who you are. And when we do that, it's like going on a date with someone. We're starting to fall in love. We're like, ooh, I like that trait. I like that. And we're starting to fall in love with ourselves really deeply on a core level. And it's like, wow, I really like you. And we fall in love with ourselves and we go on this journey to figuring out who we are and falling in love with ourselves. And then we have fallen deeply in love with ourselves. And it might sound really stupid, but, it's like getting to know someone that we're choosing to live our life with, date with. We're getting to know them and we love it. And then we find something that we actually don't really like, but is part of them. And then we got to make that decision. Do I accept it and learn to love it? Or can I just not get past it? But this is with yourself. So if you cannot get past it, you're going to live with that for the rest of your life with yourself, right? So we fall deeply in love with ourselves because we've figured out who we are. We've figured out who we are in our core, what we value and what's important to us. Once we have done that, the physicality changes because we're starting to really care about our body, because we value our body, because if we don't have a body, we will not be here. And if we have a body that is not healthy, then we can't do the things we want to do. Because I don't believe that anyone in their truest core really values sitting on the couch, eating fast food, watching scrap TV. I'm sorry. We all like to do it once in a while, but I don't believe that anyone in their deepest core, if they did the work, would go, yes, I want to sit on the couch and be unhealthy and eat junk food and watch stupid, mind-numbing shows. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone is going to say that. So we figure out who we are. We fall deeply and completely in love with ourselves, and we just become almost obsessed with ourselves because we're so great. And all of the things in our life that we value, the low tox life. For example, this doesn't have to be your truth. I'm creating a story so that you can place yourself in that story and paint the colors in whatever color is suitable in your life. I hope you understand what I mean with that. So, you know that you like low tox life. You know that you like to use essential oils as your first aid kit. Not because any other reason, then that's what's a value for you. It's important for you that you are using these products that you feel are natural and good for your health and your family. So you no longer want to hide away from that. You no longer pretend that you go and purchase the new brand of fabric softener full of the beautiful new scents on the market to fit into the crowd. Because you no longer need to try to fit into the crowd because you know who you are. Oh, I use vinegar for my fabric softener, guys. I don't actually like that smell that's being created in the laboratory. I don't actually like that smell that's been created in a lab. I don't like it. You no longer feel icky speaking up because it's like you wouldn't protect your lover. Like you stand up for your lover, you love him or her, and you stand up for them, right? You protect them, you stand up for them. Just like you do for yourself when you fall deeply in love with yourself and you figure out who you truly are in your core. So there's no longer any holding back. You won't do the things, the trends. You won't follow the things that everyone around you are doing all of the time because it's not in alignment with you anymore. And because you have fallen in love with yourself and you don't care what anyone else thinks about you, because this is what happens. When you fall deeply and completely in love with yourself, you don't give a flying banana what anyone else thinks about you because you follow your own track. You love yourself. You don't have to, but I do. I love myself. That's the most important. And it might sound easy or it might sound stupid, but that is how confidence works. So you don't hold back on your conversations. You don't pretend to like the chemicals that people are using because you know that in your core, one of your core values are to not use toxins in your family life, in your life, for yourself and for your family members, because you don't believe that that is good for you. That is a core value of yours. When someone go, yeah, I'm going to have a rowdy weekend and I'm going to be really hangover on Sunday. If that is not in your core value, if drinking alcohol is not in your core value, you won't go, yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, you have fun. That sounds really fun. You don't do that anymore because in your core, and again, this doesn't have to be your truth, but listen to the story. That now in your core that you don't value drinking alcohol and be hangover on a Sunday. So you're no longer going to pretend, yeah, that sounds really fun. You have the barbecue, drink all of the beers. Yeah, sounds good, mate, sounds good. You don't pretend that anymore because you don't have to pretend for anyone when you know who you are. When you know who you are, You don't have to pretend for no one. There is no need for it. You don't have a desire and you don't feel the need to pretend to fit in because you already fit in yourself. You have become so certain in who you are. And this is not an easy peasy journey. It takes a while. It takes time because we need to rewire. We need to come back to our true beliefs right now, not the one that was passed down from generations. Actually come into your core beliefs right now. Let's paint a story that actually you want to be filthy rich. Did you hear I used the word filthy? That's a freaking old beliefs in that brain that is bullshit. Yeah? You want to be rich and wealthy. You want to have lots of money. You want to be able to go and buy that new Louis Vuitton bag if that's what you're interested in. And you know what? When you know in your core that that's what you want, I want to be really, really rich. I want to be really rich. You don't care what anyone else says. You go and buy that Louis Vuitton bag and you wear it with pride. Not because you worked hard to make the money, but because you actually value having that bag and you love having that bag and you feel zilch guilt from carrying that bag on your shoulder or in your hand. Nothing, nada. This doesn't have to be your story, but do you understand what I mean? If you go to the cafe and they say, do you want tap water or bottled natural spring water for $25? And you know in your core that you do not drink tap water, you say, yes, please, the bottled water, the natural spring water. And if all of your friends sitting around you go, why would you pay $25 for the water? You go, because I want to. I don't want to drink the tap water. And that's it. You don't feel no guilt. You don't feel ashamed. And if they start to have a giggly gaggle about it, you don't care. It's like water on a duck's back because you know who you are. You get the point? I really hope you get what I mean here. None of it matters because you know who you are. You love yourself. You have sat with yourself to truly figure out who you are and what's important in your life. And you don't give a flying flip banana what anyone else thinks about it. And then the magical thing happens. Confidence. And let's not get distracted by fake it till you make it and real confidence. Let's not get distracted by that and confused. There is very many people, especially on the social word space right now, that are pretending. They are pretending to not care. They are pretending to be confident. They are faking it till they're making it, whatever you want to call it. They are pretending that they just wake up and wear a slutty t-shirt and show up on social media, but really they just iron that shirt and put it on to make themselves look like they just don't care. It's a big difference. These people are still really confused on who they are. They're not yet certain who they are. And that's okay. Let's not throw any blame or judgment on anyone because that's not needed. When you love yourself, there is no need to judge or do any of these things when you actually truly know who you are. So let's not get confused by just pretending that you are confident. Let's just get to the core. Figure out who the hell you are. Figure out what you value and why you value it. Figure out what it is you want and why you want it. Figure out what makes you feel good. Figure out what makes you feel not good. And do the things to figure out who inside of this human body that you, for probably most of your life, have just been not thinking about for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, however old you are. You haven't really asked yourself the question, who am I? You look yourself in the mirror and you're not quite sure, but then you just move on with it because that's what you do in life. But really stop and ask yourself, who am I and what do I want? And please remember that this can change numerous times over and over and over and over again. We can shift and change numerous times over and over again. We are allowed to shift and change. We are allowed to change in our life. Yeah? And as life changes, you might change as your values. You might change the reason to why you want to do things. Yeah? So let's be clear with that. So let's remember that confidence is not something you are lucky to have. Confidence is not something that, you just wear it. You're so confident. It's so easy for you. No. there is work behind that, because in the future, once we are all doing this work, our children are going to grow up and they might just be confident. I mean, children are confident. Most of children are just born with confidence, and that's what we do. But then life hasn't, and then we lose it, and then generational past old shitty beliefs are placed in our brains, and all of the shitty shatty. Yeah. But for us that are doing the work, our children are actually going to be confident. They're going to be 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, because they're going to know in their core. They're going to know that loving themselves deeply and completely is what they do. And if something doesn't feel right, you ask yourself the question, why doesn't it feel right? What has changed? Okay? But for now, with most people not having confidence or faking to have confidence, getting their fake nails or the fake lashes or the fake hair or the fake boobs or the fake this. Nothing wrong with this. If that makes you feel good, please go and do it. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But anyway, you do you. What I'm trying to say is, when you truly figure out in your core who you are and you fucking fall deeply in love with yourself, you will have confidence. Because you don't actually care what other people think about you. Because you know who you are. Yeah? So instead of trying to create that confidence on the external level, start with going internally with yourself. Start figuring out who you are, what you value, what your core values are, and what you really want in this life and why you want that. And then you're going to see how that flower that you are, you're going to strengthening the roots, and then the core, the stalk of you as a flower is going to become really, really strong. And then the flower that's coming up is going to be really big, bright, and beautiful and confident, because the core, the stalk of that flower is so freaking certain of who she is. She's not going to come up being half rose, half, I don't even know, frangipani, half this, half this, half this. She's just going to be pure, coming out in her purity. And then she might wilter away and die in the seasons, and then she might come up as a different flower. And that's okay. But she's going to be 100% that flower, because she knows in her core who she is. So stop using the excuse that other people are getting things in life or moving further in life because they have confidence. They're gifted with confidence. Let's scrap that idea. Because someone that is true and authentic in their confidence, and yes, I use the word again, authentic, real authentic, someone that really knows in their core who they are, they show up as who they are. And they don't worry what other people think, because she knows that people can think different things, people can have different values, and that's still okay, because it doesn't actually matter. So stop hiding behind the excuse that, oh, she's got confidence. She dared to show up in her business. Let's just forget about that. Figure out who you are. Figure out who you are in your core and what your values are and what's really important for you. And if you find it troublesome doing that journey, because it actually is quite really freaking troublesome, 20 years in the self-development game, going to all this different event that hypes you up and feel amazing and excited, and you come home, you're like, oh my God, I don't know who I am anymore. You know what I mean? Jump on my website, jennyoceans.com, follow the links below, jump on and apply to become part of Becoming, because this is what we do. We scrap you down to the base, we lay a brand new concrete foundation, and then we build the pillars to hold you up in your truth, so that you can fall deeply and completely in love with yourself, to have absolute confidence in all and everything that you are. Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you there. Ciao, my loves. Celebrating you for taking this time to choosing to learn, choosing to maybe get a little bit uncomfortable, choosing to come into rawness and realness and just really let yourself grow into who you desire to be. I celebrate you as always, showing my deepest respect to the original custodians of this land, Bundjalung country and the Yugambeh people, showing respect for all who's walked before us, all that are walking with us, and all that would walk after us. My deepest, deepest gratitude. I love and appreciate all and everything, all the knowledge that you have learned to live on the land and off the land, with the deepest gratitude for Mother Earth, and choosing to share that with us. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate all and every single one of you for listening. You making my goal and my vision for this lifetime. Very, very possible for every woman to know exactly who she is and love herself deeply and completely.